evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our second session. It's for you, antidote for cop28. And with me, I have my friend Collins. My name is Timothy Ndegwa, and we will be your hosts today. So, Collins, kindly will you say hi to our viewers and introduce to us what we have today.
Okay, thanks, Timothy, and hi there. Glad to see you this afternoon. It's a good morning, a good afternoon, or a good evening to all our viewers, wherever they are watching from. My name is Collins from Nairobi, Kenya, and glad to just be back to continue the discussion, gin and conversations, sharing the stories about the positive things that we are doing, and as we have been saying through along our It's For You campaign, is that the little positive steps that we make every day, yeah, they really matter and make a difference for a better future. So glad to be here, and we have our friend David Cole from the UK. Hi, David.
Hi, how are you all?
I'm
So
fine, thank you.
I am coming across at the moment. So on my way here, I just gone to church, just for a little bit, and on my way back, I was realizing that it's really remarkable that we're able to connect in this way, and connecting is really what it's all about. So, and you're there in your studios in Kenya, in different places. And this morning we had Inga in Norway, we had Sadaf in Pakistan, and we're able to bring all of this together. And you're going to bring even more of those together along. And what I want to start with is our 2 o'clock session, our time dedicated for us just to take a pause, because in the middle of all the excitement and the energy to connect back in the different ways we have with creation, with our place, however we find our place is really important. And for that today, we have Cynthia Wigner, who has sent us a recording of a meditation that she is going to do together with us. And we would like you really to join with that. And I'm going to join in that too. And it's not just a stationary meditation. I believe you may need to move around a little bit or however it is. I'm not too sure how, but please do, kind of go along with that. And Cynthia Wigner is from Italy. That means with the privileges and the responsibilities of being from Italy brings. And that's a very important thing to think about. And she describes herself as an absolute nobody with a capital N. But somebody really needs to know some of her footprints if we wanted to do that. We can find that in PubMed. And if you look up Cynthia Wigner in PubMed, she has worked extensively on experiential training on stress management. And she's undergone through that transformation. And what she says about herself is she facilitates process. And she's a free researcher. And what she wants us to remind us also as we lead into this meditation is, first of all, she is a human. And so with that, I'm going to bring on her meditation to the stage.
Hello everybody, this is Cinzia Almavox 109 Zeta from Italy, Stresa. I'm in my name there is number 109 because I do synchronize myself with the natural cyclic time of the galactic Maya. So 109 is my galactic signature. I am an overtone red moon. It means that my job for this life is to purify emotion and to command the purification of emotions. So, as regard the work that we are doing with the COP28, I would like to bring my little piece of vision, first of all. We are really strongly identify with the matter as humanity, and this identification is a mistake in our vision of ourselves. So today we are going to start with this disidentification exercise to understand exactly what we are not, and to fix inside of us a center that we can see in another way according to everyday life. So, sit down in a comfortable way, put your feet on the ground, try to keep your spine straight but in a soft way, no tension, and focus your attention on breathing. Inhale and exhale. With every breath, the muscles are releasing tensions. Our shoulders are relaxed. All the muscles of our back are relaxed. With every breath, a bit more of our body is relaxing. Also, our legs are really relaxed. Now, please repeat after me, slowly, with attention and conviction, the word that I suggest you. I have a body, but I am not my body. My body may be in different conditions of health or sickness. It may be rested or tired. But this has nothing to do with me, with my true self. My body is a valuable instrument of experience and action in the outer world. But it is only a tool. I treat it well. I try to keep it healthy, but it is not myself. I have a body, but I am not my body. I have a body, but I am not my body. I have a body, but I am not my body. Please take several breaths to fix this information inside of you. We repeated this information 3 times, one for the gravitational level, one for the mental level, and the third one for the biopsychical level. Now we affirm again with conviction. I have emotions, but I am not my emotions. They are different, changing, conflicting, while I always remain me. In the alternation of hope and discouragement, joy and sorrow, irritation and calm, I always remain myself. I can observe, understand, and judge my emotion. and become more and more capable of mastering, directing, and using them. I have emotions, but I am not my emotions. I have emotions, but I am not my emotions. I have emotions, but I am not my emotions. Let's breathe deeply. To let all ourselves to establish this information inside. Next step is about desires. I have desires, but I am not my desires. Desires are so changeable, conflicting. They are a succession of attraction and repulsions. There are desires in me, but they are not me. There are desires in me, but they are not me. There are desires in me, but they are not me. Let's breathe. And find our position of observers of our desire. Finally, we arrive to our mind. Mind is the strongest instrument to realize the will of God, but at the same time, it can be tricky. We have to master and direct it. So, let's repeat. I have a mind, but I am not my mind. It may be more or less developed and active. It is undisciplined, but little by little I can master and direct it. It is an organ of knowledge, both of an external world and of an internal world. But it is not myself. I have a mind, but I am not my mind. I have a mind, but I am not my mind. I have a mind, but I am not my mind. Think for a while that the role of the mind when we are able to keep it clean is to be a channel of information from the upper floor. The Galactic Maya say from the center of the universe or from the sun through the flare that are sending encoded information to our planet. The vision is that we are like antenna radio, we receive the information, and we are in the middle between the earth and the sky. Like in the Sufi dance, we are the column that keep the sky in its place, and these columns are based on the ground, on our earth. We are one with our planet. If we feel inside that we are one with our planet and we are one humanity, we will not make any choice that bring to death. We could be informed by the law of life, by the law of nature, and we are going to develop ourselves, flourish, and develop our humanity, our civilization for the first time, following the rule of love. That is the rule that manage, that support all the universe. When we are not clean, when our mind is not clean, when our desire, when our feelings, emotions are not clean, we can make wrong choices. And this is what we can see nowadays all over the planet. So at the end, after this identification exercise or this identification process, what are we? I am convicted, please repeat. I am convicted and I affirm that I am a center of pure awareness. I am convicted and I affirm that I am a center of pure self-consciousness. I am a center of will, capable of mastering, directing, and using all my psychic function and my body. I am. Io sono. So whom. This is a very, very important point of view, point of being that you can assume. So we are going to repeat again. I am convicted and I affirm that I am a center of pure awareness. I am convicted and I affirm that I am a center of pure self-consciousness. I am a center of will, capable of mastering, directing, and using all my psychic function and my body. I am. Io sono. So whom. I am. Io sono. So whom. I am. Io sono. So whom. And since I am a center of pure awareness and pure self-consciousness, I recognize the others as other center of pure awareness and pure consciousness of the same conscious, that is God. It was a pleasure to be with you today, and we are going to meet again in 2 days. Today we planted a small seed in our soul and in the soil. It's a good day. It's the day for the galactic Mayan that is encoded by the symbol of the seed, the yellow seed. Today we can command this seed to find his place and to flourish. And I suggest you all to write down the sentences that I gave you, and to listen to this exercise more times until you will catch the smallest sentences that are enough to start the process inside. These sentences, to resume, is: I have a body, but I am not my body. I have emotion, but I am not my emotion. There are desires in me, but I am not my desires. I have a mind, but I am not my mind. I am a center of pure awareness and of pure consciousness. I am a center of will, capable of mastering, directing, and using all my psychic function and my body. I am, io sono, so hum. This is my small seed for me, for you, and for all the world, because the work we are doing is never just for us, but is for everybody. And in this moment, it's really important to be in the first line, to do this awareness work, to do this cleaning inside work, because all the things that happen in a big level started from a small level. A big hug and a lots of love to everyone. From Italy, Blavatsky said that the new civilization will be coming from Italy, and some of us Italians has the big responsibility and feel the big responsibility to make the things change from, first of all, our environment.
Wow, that was great. It was a great session, and maybe I'd want us to have maybe a few reflections from the session. As you're having the session, what was going through your mind? What came into your mind, David and Collins as well? Start with David.
I've done the usual thing, which is to speak without unmuting myself. I felt peaceful. I felt being able to be taken to a different place. I felt that there was a connection for myself within myself, and the aspects about the fact that I have a body, but I'm not my body. I have a mind, but I'm not my mind. Those elements, I have desires, but I'm not my desires. Those aspects, I think, very often we forget. And when I think about COP and why it's for you, it's meant to be the antidote of COP, is that we are all engaged with COP. We're all important, but we're not COP. We are ourselves. And as we've heard from so many voices today, by them being able to be themselves, being able to be empowered to be themselves, they're able to take us all forward. Whereas if we're too bothered by the voices that come out and say, this is COP and this is what it is, we forget that we are the ones who need to be on the journey, and we are the ones who lead the journey. So I think she reminded me of that and reminded why we're doing this. It's for you.
Okay, thank you. Collins?
Okay, well, thank you, Tim. Yeah, been a reflection, just listening and in a way to understand meditation. And one of the things that I picked from her is that we are one with the planet. And if you reflect on that statement that we are one, and the pure consciousness that comes along with that, and the awareness, and try to link that to our daily actions on how we, work with the nature, so to say. I think for me, it just brings to mind the fact that if you have a pure mind, then it means what you're spreading to the other people are positive things. You spread joy, you spread love, um, you spread, yeah, peace, and reflecting on the same statement that David mentioned about, it's COP and it's about the crisis. When we began today's session in the morning, we had a friend guy from Sweden, whom Inga brought in with music and the role. And actually, he said one statement that we need to embrace the crisis in a positive way, and it's very difficult for you to be able to even recognize that you're in a crisis if you do not take time to be in a quiet place and be able to, reflect at an individual level how, the pure awareness, consciousness, and the will uh, can set a pace to that journey, a peaceful journey, and a better planet. So, yeah, that's how I I take it, Tim. And yeah, it's good to understand. It's just teaching me how also you are able to meditate, because meditation is it's something you learn through experiences, and I think it's a good it's a good thing. If the world is burning and we have the noise coming around all over across, okay, if if someone was up to found somebody who's out cutting down the trees, or your foresters to say, tip, okay, so it just means if everyone has that moment where they quietly reflect about you know their 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 connection with the planet, and to understand that it's from a pure heart and mind that you're able to make the right decision. And then I think that's the fundamental aspect of where we can begin when we talk about the climate issues. So thank you, and it's been really thought-provoking and inspiring for me to hear that. Yes, Tim.
Great, great. Nice reflections. And I'm going to what you might have shared, which I totally resonate with, especially when it comes to issues to do with, acknowledging the fact that I have emotions, but I am not emotions. I think that for me spoke volumes, in a sense that even during this, uh, even during these 12 days of COP, where people are having climate anxiety because of the threat that we are prone to. It is also good to understand that it has brought to me the aspect that I should appreciate the fact that yes, I have those anxious thoughts, I have those fearful thoughts, but I'm not those emotions, and that makes it for you. That makes it for us, whereby we are able to have that free mind, that pure mind, that can be able to walk through this whole time, this whole season we are in, that is full of uh, darkness, knowing that we are preserving our peace of mind, which is it's absolutely key. And also the aspect of prayer that she has insisted in, acknowledging the fact that we have somewhere we can run to. We have comfort and support through God, and we can do that through prayer. So it's been really great. It's been amazing. It's sort of it's sort of therapeutic, and I pray that people get inspired by this as well. So that has been it for our curtain raiser for our today's session. And taking us to the next segment, we are going to have an incredible conversation in our looking at a common home segment. We'll be joined by some guy called James Kamau from Kenya, who is doing an amazing job in trying to rehabilitate the seeds that we have, the seeds that we use, that we get from our fruits, and we just throw them away after taking the fruit, and making us understand that we can actually use seeds, and try to restore our environment and ensure that we have food security by having fruits around. And the main things that he's doing things through the plastic bags that we throw out there, packaging paper, which you use in your meal, and maybe you think that it has value. But James makes us aware that you can actually get back to the economy and use it to look after our common home. So James as he shares with us how we make our home better of the seeds get from our fruits. That's it. Enjoy. So hi everyone, and nice to have you here. Today we have James Kamau from the Millennial Environmentalist, who will be joining us to share with us about his project and taking care of our common home. So welcome so much, James, and allow me to introduce you to the people. Take time and introduce yourself. Tell us where you're joining us from, what you do, and we get to know you more. Over to you, James.
Thank you, Timothy. My name is James Kamau. I'm a conservation biologist. I am a co-founder and the chairman of the Millennium Environmentalist, which is a registered society here in Kenya. We've been active from 2019 to date, and our work is to champion for conservation and a symbiotic relationship between man and the natural resources or environment. Thank you.
You're much welcome, James. Nice to have you here. And maybe to start us off, would you kindly share with us about the project you're doing, the name, the locality where it's based in, and also the people that you engage with, the members of the community in whom benefit from this project?
So thank you very much, Timothy. Millennium Environmentalist is a registered society, and it has various projects. The one we're going to present today is known as the Hummingbird Awards. And the Hummingbird Awards is get to actually better what people are already doing in the community, and through that is through capacity building and more advocacy and training, and as well as resource mobilization from our side and our partners. So the project currently is in Kenya, the whole country. We are tackling all the 47 counties. And our biggest work is to educate other environmentalists, both organizational and individuals, but at the same time also sharing our campaign, which is Stop Seed Abortion, where we help each and every person start their own work. That includes when they eat fruits, they save the seeds and actually plant the seeds and donate to the community land, the churches, the forest, the mosques, children homes, and any other space that actually has the capacity to accommodate seedlings.
Okay, thank you so much, James. I'm more interested by the abortion of seed name, and just to be curious, how did the whole project start?
The whole project started when we actually started talking to kids, and most kids in our schools never understand that seedlings come from seed. They actually understand seedlings, and even when you talk to adults, they think tree planting involves seedlings. That is a seed that has already germinated and has leaves. Most of them do not understand that these seedlings come from seeds. So in their daily action, where they eat fruits in their evening, or they eat avocados for their supper, or some pudding, or some fresh juice, squeezed juice at home, when they are throwing away the seeds, they do not understand they are throwing away their food security. So from there, we actually came to realize that this was a tradition that was being done by the Africans. So it is traditional knowledge or indigenous knowledge, where our grandparents will have a kitchen garden. Everywhere they'll have seeds that they're not using, they will put them or throw it somewhere close to their home, where they will germinate to be seedlings. But then this is a culture that has been forgotten because now people are living in cities, and in cities they don't have spaces for the kitchen gardens. But then now with our education, with the Stop Seed Abortion campaign, we are showing them that actually they can start doing their own small kitchen gardens with a little space that they have. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, James. And for how long has the Hummingbird project been in existence now?
The Hummingbird Awards project started last year. So
Okay.
it's a project that started last year to this year. We've been able to handle 200 uh, different participants. That is individuals. This is individuals and organizations. Total of 200. We've
Okay.
done of the first year we did 65,000 seed balls. Those are in different indigenous areas. They were given to different people, and we also did uh, 30,000 seedlings. These were given to the individuals who participated. In the second year, we were able to do 55,000 seed balls, because, and that is the people who have picked the seed balls so far, because others have not picked them up. And then the seeds are going to be donated by our partners, the Kenya Forestry Service, in the next long range. That is the long range that are coming in April, and they're donating a total of 37,000 seedlings.
Okay.
So that is Hummingbird Awards. We have partnered with our education partners, that is Project Management Institutes. It's an international NGO from the US, and it's in very different countries. They come and educate these individuals and organizations on how to start projects, sustain them, fundraise for them, involve the community. Actually, in simple terms, how to sustain a project from beginning to end, how to make a project complete. So all our
Okay.
hummingbirds are trained in this, and this is building up on the spirit of our matriarch, Professor Angare Madai, where she told us to be hummingbirds, to
Yeah.
do the little that we can, the best that we can with the little that we have. And that's what we are trying to educate more people, to show them that actually with the little that they have, they can do so much.
Great, great. And it's I love how you brought in the Hummingbird story by the late Wangari Maathai. That
Okay.
there's that one thing that we can do to take care of our common home, that is Mother Planet
Yes.
Earth. And that brings me to the next question. You mentioned that various organizations get to participate, and also other individuals get also to participate. How can people across the world get to participate on this noble cause, on the Hummingbird project, at an individual level or even at a corporate level?
So in Hummingbird Awards, what we do is we actually utilize the storytelling initiative that has been
Okay.
going through the world. So number one, you have to share stories. Tell us the little that you've done, right? So when you share your stories, because we open the storytelling bit in the beginning of the year. So next year, January, February, we'll have already opened it up. You'll share your story with us. And then these stories, we'll get it and put it in our website, where we'll share it to the whole world. So during the time we are sharing these stories to the whole world, the people who are participating, because we have to put a cap, yeah, the people who actually are able to apply within our timelines now go through our online trainings. Yeah, this is the time we teach them and practically show them videos. So we have trainings on a weekly basis. On a week, we have 2 trainings online, so that everyone who is in the country can able to reach. So the people who are around areas where we have nurseries, that is in Parklands, Tiongo Road, Kimana in Kajiado County, and Nakuru County. Kiambu County is in Tiongo Road, Nairobi is in Parklands. So where we have our 4 nurseries, these people can visit us physically, right? Where they can't visit us physically to see the education that we are giving them, they have access to the KFS nurseries. Kenya Forestry Service has nurseries across the country. So you can just go to the nearest KFS nursery to you to get the practicals done. But as well, these practicals, you can do them yourself in the comfort of your home if you don't need the necessary to actually do the physical visit, because we train you, we share with you videos on how to do this. And our knowledge and our education is very structured in a way that It's very simple. Evening, put a seed aside. In the morning, when you're drinking your tea, put the milk bag or the potting paper of milk aside. Put it inside there. Put soil, water and soil, and then you continue and wait. Talk to somebody in the community. Engage the local administration. Engage the local social centers like schools and churches and mosques if they are there. So it's very, very practical and very easy. But then we have to provide these resources to the people in different capacity that they are feeling comfortable. So when you join that, and then we go through the training, we also do some voting. So we actually see how many people you're willing to reach through your stories, and this can be done by word of mouth. This is recorded or accounted for by voting. So you can vote for me for free. That means I have to approach Timothy, talk to him, tell him what I'm doing, and he has to actually vote for me, and he'll vote for me only after he's liked what I've done. So these are free votes. So people are encouraged to engage many people, and you see, when you're engaging many people, you're spreading the word of conservation. Yeah, you're spreading the message. So this is a task where you have to get voting. There is the other part of voting where if you want to, people can donate under your name some money. If I like your story so much, I'm like, wow, this is worth $1. Yeah, this is worth 50, half a dollar, or whatever amount you will want to invest in it, because in Kenya shillings, the least for a vote is 10 shillings. I don't know in dollars how you can equate that. Is it 1 cent or 10 cents, maybe? So you see, if they want to, they can do that. If they want to give a free vote, they can do that. So it all depends on how many people you're willing to actually go around and reach, both on social media and physically one on one. So after the voting is when now we come together, and then we give you trees. We give you the resources. We'll give you trees. The trees you can get them to your from your local KFS. So that will help you in reducing the logistics. The other one, you get seeds from Seed Balls Kenya, who are also our partners. So these seeds, if you're not around us, if you're around us, you can access them in our office. If you're far away, we'll send them to you. We'll send them through different logistical companies or even public means, and then you can pick them up nearest to you. So, and then we'll monitor and evaluate, what are you doing with the resources we gave to you? Are you planting them? Did you take care of them? How many survived? The seeds we gave you, did you broadcast them? Did you start a nursery? etc, etc, etc. So after that is when, now after your work, after you've seen your work of taking care of the trees, engaging people, building the capacity of others, doing broadcasting the seeds, or actually utilizing all the resources that we give you, both in education and physical environmental resources, is when we'll award you Hummingbird Award of the Year. Yeah. So, and our goal is, so that if right now we have 200 people, our goal was to start 200 different nurseries where people can get this knowledge for free, the same way we're giving it. And if they want seedlings, they can access them for free, because nature's gifts are free, and we should give back to nature for free without any request for any amount of money or any favors, for that matter.
Okay, great stuff you're doing there, James, and I'm really, uh, I'm really moved by the great impact that you're making. Trying to bring the many stories of people who do, these amazing things, little things in their spheres, to try and conserve our environment for the next future.
True.
And you bring them, and you've created a platform whereby now these people can be able to share these amazing stories, and they can also get to inspire other people. So that is so incredible of you and your team. And just to ask, maybe resources it's also another thing when it comes to such projects. So maybe, if you don't mind, can you share with us, how do you go about resources? How do you mobilize resources? How are you able to keep things going?
No, so our organization society, as I said, it's a membership-based society. So our members contribute annual fee, or others
Okay.
monthly fee. So that
Okay.
is our primary source of resources. The other thing is we work with people. The other biggest source of resources is relationships. Yeah. So like I
Yeah.
stated, KFS will give us free trees. That is because of the relationship we have maintained with them, and it requires a lot of work. Seed Balls
Yeah.
Kenya will come and give us seed balls. This is because they see the value of our project and they see what we are doing on the ground. They
Yeah.
have come around and seen that the work is good. So those relationships have come in very easily. PMI will come in and train these people for free without us paying anything, just because they see the value of the work we have been doing and we are continuing to do. So apart from memberships and actually the good relationship, we have applied for grants, gotten some. So there are companies like, for example, Casneb in Kenya. Casnev gave us a tender to plant for them around 1,500 trees. So in that you get some little resources that support our nurseries. As well, when you give away the free trees in our nurseries, you encourage people. We have a tipping culture. Nobody
Okay.
buys trees from our nursery, but then they tip. The funny thing
Okay.
about that is that you can be selling trees worth 5,000, but then the way you treat people and they see the work and understand your story, they will tip you even more than the 5,000 that you are supposed to sell them the tree. So that is something that I've seen working in our nurseries because of the goodwill of the people we were interacted with. But then also number one is our projects are do not require a lot of resources. Like for example, if I involve you in our stop seed abortion campaign, you see it is does not require any resources from you. Actually, it's saving the waste. Actually, using the waste, what you people consider waste, is what you use as environmental resources. Like the seeds, we consider them live waste. The plastic bags, we consider them solid waste. So when you mix the two, which is people's waste, cost them absolutely nothing, and they actually get something out of it, getting a full mango tree, avocado tree. You get to see people change their ways and actually embrace this because most people believe conservation is quite expensive, right? So when you do such things, they see it doesn't cost anything to do this. So building such a culture, and then now we have even built a culture of giving. So if you have planted, let's say, 10 avocados in your balcony, Bwana Timothy, just because I gave you this knowledge for free, when you're giving out the seedlings, you'll give them out for free. That will reduce my cost drastically of buying the 10 avocado trees, which one will cost around 200 bob in Kenya, 200 shillings in Kenya. So if they are 10, that is 2,000. I will have saved that 2,000 because I invested in you through education in a previous timeline. So yeah, that is the way we do things. And even my action today is investing in my future tomorrow because I have started a project with 0 trees, and then those people just come. I will come with 5 trees. Mine are doing well. I'll come with 15 trees, and you end up planting 200 trees just because 3-4 months ago you actually sat down with people and talked to them on how to change their daily routines and daily behaviors.
Okay.
Yes.
Great, James. And this also forms, it also contributes to what we are doing as rethinking choices. During these 12 days of COP, we are inviting people to, to redirect their spending to the people that they think really matter,
Yes.
and you speak to the people that we think matter, the people that I would personally redirect my spending to, because I can see what you're doing, I can see the impact that you're doing, and for that reason I will choose to, the tipping thing that you're talking about. And it's also a
Yes.
conversation that will form the basis of this of the 12 days of COP that we'll be having, and
Thank you.
we'll have this conversation again and again. So another question is, uh, what would you mind to share the successes and maybe the challenges that you've encountered on this
Uh,
project?
the big, the biggest success in this project is with the Millennium Environmentalists, we'll be able to donate 210,000 trees for free.
Wow,
Over from
congratulations.
2019 to now. Thank you very much. So that is one of the successes, and then we've touched so many lives. I'll give you one example. I go to Langata West. Langata West Primary School. It's a primary school here in Nairobi. The reason why I worked with it is because my siblings who come after me all went to that school, yeah. And it had an environmental club, but then it needed reviving. So we revived the environmental club by doing the stop seed abortion. Yeah, we told every kid These are, I mind you, these are 1,200 kids. Go home, bring one milk package, and one seed when you eat all over the week. If you're going to eat avocados, bring one seed. If you're going to eat pawpaws, bring the seeds. And on Friday, we were able to start a nursery of 3,000 seeds together
Interesting.
with the kids, because every kid is just filling one packet of the one they brought at home, putting their seed inside, and then these kids regularly water them. After sometimes we were able to actually have around, was it 1,600 seedlings survive out of that nursery. Now Langata West is full of trees to the point now they are donating even to the neighboring schools. That is a culture. When you have in excess, you give out to the neighboring school. So if you spread this culture across all schools, it's a culture that will going to outlive us, because with education is going to outlive us more than anything. So that will be something that I will want to outlive me personally, as I started this stop seed abortion, and it's going to change a whole lot of people, because if the 8 billion people of today in the world today just saved one seed, each one seed, took care of it until it grew, you'll have 8 billion trees in 3 months from now. That is how I actually discuss about it or talk about it, and it's something we tried out last year during the election year, and we'll tell our Kenyan people and had a whole campaign that let's have green elections. You see, this time you're electing a president, plant a seed, take care of it. Trust you me, that seed will give you its returns before the next elections. So if you did 10 trees or fruit trees, you'll have different species of tea trees before the next presidential election. In Kenya, politics and elections are quite a big thing. So if you use them as timelines, people will resonate more with them. So using that timeline, you find that a lot of people planted trees. Another route we've tried to use is the Nairobi culture, because most people living in towns in December will go back to their rural homes. We know that there's that migration, annual migration that is consistent. So you tell people
Yeah.
in Nairobi, why don't you in August, around August or July, why don't you start putting seedlings in the soil in your own balcony? So that when you go home in December, instead apart from taking the normal shopping and the other things you do, why don't you take fruit trees? When you come back after 2 years in your own home, rural home, because most people in Nairobi complain they don't have space, and I'm like, why do you need to go spend money buying a seedling? And you can just take care of it on your own independently, and you choose from the best. The sweetest mango that you ever tasted, you take that seed, or the sweetest orange you ever taken, you take the seeds from the sweetest. This is something you have sampled yourself, not somebody showing in not finding James Kamau in a nursery and telling you, oh, these are good avocado. No, no, no. We want you to use what you are aware of, yeah, and what you have seen clearly. So that is our message. That is how we are going around about this, and trying to actually make this thing mix with the normal lives of the Kenyan people.
Okay. Great,
Yeah,
great, 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 James. And you've posed really a great challenge to us and to the world as well. That the 8 billion of us, if we can just, if we can just plant one seed, we will have 8 billion, 8 billion seedlings or other trees in the next 3 months, and that goes a long way to looking after our mother nature. What we're talking about, the conversation that we're having today, looking after our common home, because I believe that earth is all that we have in common, and it's
true.
only fair if we just take care of it. And I'm really amazed and inspired by what you're doing, James. And I'm sure that I'm not the only person who you're inspiring with your work. There are other people who you've inspired out there. And
Thank you.
what would you tell somebody who would want to pursue the same purpose that you're doing? What will you tell him or her? What advice will you
Uh,
share with the person?
my advice to the world is very simple. You are the change you are seeking, right? I know this may offend some people, but this is what I literally say. Somebody who is employed at UNEP, the unit that is United Nation Environmental Programs, is not an environmentalist if individually they are doing nothing towards environmental conservation. That is your job. That is where you get your salary. So if you're planting trees under UNEP and you're the one in charge of planting 1,000,000 trees, unless you've planted 1,000,000 trees under UNEP and 10 trees via your own individual initiative, now that is where you become an environmentalist. An environmentalist, it's a very personal matter. For me, I take it as a very personal matter. It's no longer about the organization that I am working with, or even my friends. Everyone in the, even the nurseries we have as an organization, every member of my organization must have their own personal nurseries. Yeah, you'll be part of this because you like what you're doing. But then if you're not doing it at home, then you not pass it down to your kids, you not pass it down to your siblings. And for the people you're passing down have to come interact with you in this space, only this space that has been provided for the environmental space. So if this is not your daily life routine, when you go to your vehicle, you don't throw away rubbish outside the vehicle. Even if when you buy tropical, you don't throw away the wrapping of the sweets. If you have to keep all your seeds, you have to keep all your plastic bags well, you have to do it yourself. And one thing I usually tell people in the whole world is that there's so many debates. Is there climate change? Is there not? We have both sides of this argument. But then usually tell them one thing. Does any side have an issue with planting trees? No side, even the ones that are saying there's no climate change, do they have an issue with planting trees? I ask the question. Then I tell them this. So I'm not telling you to believe climate change is there. I'm just telling you plant your seeds. That's it. We can argue or disagree on many scientific things, but then this one thing that we are agreeing on, that we have to live in a green way ourselves. Let us walk that path. And at the end of the day, you are the hummingbird. Join the revolution. If you want to call it a revolution, I don't want to make it political, but just know this: you are the change you're seeking. Nobody else is coming to change anything for you. Not the government, not the UN, not AU, not East Africa, nobody else, not your religion. If you want to change, change starts with you. And most likely, and most importantly, it starts within you. You have to feel it in your heart for even for you to act. So yeah, be the change you're seeking and be the change the world. And when you're doing it, please put a smile on your face.
Great. What a good way to end this conversation with
Thank
the
you.
challenge that you're the change that you seek, and you've actually personalized the whole aspect of taking care of our environment, the whole aspect of
Yes.
looking after our common home. That even that despite me being employed, maybe for example in an organization to plant trees, that I still need to do it at a personal level. It's
That
such
is
a
your
great.
job.
Thank
Yes.
you so much. Such a great
Environmentalist
challenge.
is a personal decision.
Yeah,
Job aside and everything aside, being an environmentalist is a personal initiative that we have to do it by ourselves. Even for me, I usually say if the president of Kenya, I don't know if this will reach him, if all the fruits that are eaten in State House, all the seeds are eaten in State House when he's hosting the king and the queens of the world and all the other presidents, if all the seeds in State House, there was a nursery in State House that has been started specifically by the president of Kenya, he will be the best example to the whole world. So if he's talking about 15 billion trees, I want first and foremost to just show me and our home as the first family. This is our contribution to the movement, not money, no money, because he can give us billions, he can give us millions. That's okay. But then if you're not doing it in your own home, then we are living in a cause that is going to not outlive us. It's the same thing with the president, if I may say something. Our late president, Daniel Torretich Arap Moi, he had the best narrative. He had the best. Cut one tree, plant two. The reason why he did not live after him, the reason why even the Generation Z that came after him do not even know that saying. I know it because I was born around that time, and every time you'll touch a tree, my grandfather will tell us, plant two seeds and ensure they've grown, right? The reason why we did not leave it because we did not personalize it, we did not make it part of our daily routine. The same thing we have to do with the narrative of Wangari Maathai. Every Kenyan, every African, every other citizen has to make it their own daily routine, part of their own daily routine for it to succeed.
great, James. I cannot add anymore to that. You just put it well put. And it was nice having you, James Kamau. You've shared with
Cheers.
us great nuggets. You've inspired us, and for sure, this will get to Mr. President because we are doing it
Please.
globally, and he will
Yes.
he'll have a chance. He'll get to listen to this and challenge
Yes.
him as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bwana Timothy. You have a wonderful afternoon. Yeah, let me run away. I'm traveling to Nakuru right away after this. So you have a good day. See you when I see you, sir.
You're welcome and safe journey.
Thank you.
Incredible interview I had with James Kamau, and I hope it was great. It was inspiring. Personally, it inspired me, and I couldn't get enough of it. And maybe Collins, what's your thought?
Yes, Tim, very inspiring story from James Kamau. His last part on, you are the change that you are seeking, and the aspect that you are saying that is for you. I was just, reflecting on that. If he's saying like, where do I have to start? Actually, that's change. It's for you. So, and I like the part that he says, the power of the seed. If you just reflect on that, the power of the seed, and the fact that every time I consume, he mentions, that sweet mango, and I throw the seed in the dustbin. Uh, if you look at it, little do you have the time even to just think through that. Whatever I'm throwing is next tomorrow. I'm going to the market to be asking someone like, you sold me a mango yesterday and it wasn't that nice. And if I had that opportunity to just, pause and say the seed I'm throwing away tomorrow, it could be what, will bring joy to my house in the aspect that I walk outside my compound and I see a beautiful mango tree and I reflect that actually that's a seed. I bought it from maybe somewhere in Mombasa, Kenya, and here it is in my compound. Yeah, it's such an amazing story. So I do, just appreciate the amazing work they're doing. And just from the hummingbird story team, as you mentioned, the aspect that story around, the burning forest and the hummingbird taking upon itself to say, look, I don't care what my friends are saying and laughing at me and saying, oh, you're too little to make a difference. Do you even think that you can put down that fire? So if we have that kind of, self-awareness, so to speak, from the discussion that we had earlier about, the self-awareness, the consciousness, understanding ourselves, and the little positive steps that we take can actually bring down a whole forest fire. Then it's true to what James is saying. The change starts with us. It starts from within. Yes, Tim, what do you think?
I cannot agree more on that. And and the most important is that you're doing this for free. Like there's no cost implication to do this. You're doing it from what you may term it as waste, and that has really that also triggered my mind to understand that there's no there's nothing as waste. It's simply a resource that has not been placed where it belongs. Taking those seeds and putting them, who would think that a milk packaging material could be used to nurture such seeds, and when they end up becoming things that will go a long way to take care of our common home. If I'm talking about increasing our forest cover, I'm talking about addressing the issue of food security. So it's really interesting. It's really amazing, and I think for me also the challenge about that, the 8 billion of us, suppose 8 billion of us, will just rehabilitate just one seed, and that translates to 8 billion trees. that is really amazing. And maybe even during this COP, even to people who are out there in COP, maybe as they are having their breakfast and dinner, maybe we can pose a challenge to them and tell them, just use that one, take just one seed, and come back with it home, or maybe leave it there in Dubai, and then maybe the next COP you're coming, the next COP that will be happening, at least you'll be celebrating 1 year anniversary. And that is really amazing. That shows us that the amount of resources that we have, untapped potential that we have, that we can actually use them to take care of our environment. And I think also what also interested me is that aspect of the tipping thing, redirecting your spending. So and you realize that when you do something out from within, as he has said, that change is from within. When I'm rehabilitating these things from within, it coming from within, people will appreciate and people will reward your hard work. People will reward your commitment to it. So then this if we have this posture of the heart, I think we'll have an amazing engagement. Yeah, that is it from my end. And
Thank you.
you.
Thank you, Tim.
Yeah.
I also liked his, the brilliant idea, something he mentioned about, the green elections. It was you, Tim, will you wake up in the morning to vote? I know,
Yes, I did.
I know, people in Kenya, young people, if you talk to young people and tell them, are you going to vote? They have different perspectives around that. But yes, Tim, how are you going to vote for the green elections? Are you going to
Uh,
do a double voting for that?
yes. I will. First, I think we normally have 8 ballot papers, so I will ensure
Yes.
that for each ballot paper, I rehabilitate a seed, so that come the next general election, I will have eight trees to celebrate about, something of the sort.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I can promise you, if you are to rig for the green election for the trees, I'll allow you to do that. Yeah, because we need a better planet, and so inspiring actually. I think we'll need to connect more with the ideas that James and his team are doing,
Yeah.
and I'm also inspired the fact that they're able to actually mention about this story. He went back to a school in Langata West Primary in Nairobi,
Yeah.
and the reason why I'm talking about that is because in most cases if you're looking around, rallying youths around, planting trees, the whole aspect is about where do I get the money to buy the seedlings, and
Yeah.
and I think from what he mentions, and so many young people asking about where do I start? I don't know how to, begin. And earlier on today in the morning, I had a call, with a team in Dubai with the youth hub. We don't have time, and there were these questions from young people about we don't have the connections. Maybe they don't have the financial capacity to do that. And I feel like from what James is sharing is that if you look around you, the things that are around us, that actually is the starting point of where the resources are. And the fact that he can go to a school and ask the children to actually go home and pick the seeds from, whatever they are eating, and use that as the starting point from what the school can actually do for the nursery. I think for me it's a very innovating idea that
Yeah.
young people can actually rally around. And in so many cases, somebody will ask, I didn't have the money even to buy the seedlings, and tomorrow is a tree planting day. But here, James is saying, what do you have? So maybe yesterday I threw my my avocado seeds and the mangoes that could have turned out to be, my gold mine for me. And so it's a challenge also to us to
Yeah.
just say, hey, probably at at the back of our stores, the things that we are throwing away are actually the things that could turn, our obstacles into opportunities and drive our livelihoods as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
over to you, Tim.
Thank you so much. And as we also wrap this conversation up, a great presentation by James. And maybe the last bit when he talked about, change being something that comes within, it reminded me of the transformation when, when you are doing when you're doing, when we had a side event in September during African Climate Summit. When we're talking about transformation, transformation comes from within. When we define the whole thing about nature, and then we put it in in shapes, so we transform it. So that calls for change of mindset, that calls for behavioral change, which I think it's great. And the challenge that if you're employed in a tree planting organization, that is not enough to qualify you to be an environmentalist if you have not done it outside work. So that was really a challenge, and I hope even maybe people thought as they're having those conversations that they will take it out of the boardroom, that even after they've come out of COP, they'll be able to continue the conversation, because that is the only even when having intergenerational conversation, because that is how we are able to pass the mantle to the next generation. A great conversation. I hope it's been inspiring. I hope we've had a change of mindset as we purpose to take care of our home. So next online, we have a great conversation, an interview that I did together with David, in regards to with a representative at Kenya Girl Guide. Girl Guides, as it's an integral organization worldwide, and it was so interesting. It was so amazing to hear how young ladies are taking up the mantle, are rising up to the occasion to ensure that our environment is taken good care of. And also when it comes to even to morality, how young ladies are being nurtured to be responsible people in the society. So hope you're going to enjoy it. Here it goes, and let's get back after the interview. Looking after our common home, we are privileged to have Kenya Girl Guides Kenya with us to talk to us and share with us on our 12 days of COP, on how they've on what they're doing towards making our environment, our mother nature, a better place. So with me today, I have Aggie.
My name is Aggie Muriuki, and I'm a young leader, a volunteer at the Kenya Girl Guide Association in Kenya. And I also represent young women between the age of 18 to 35 at the board level of Kenya Girl Guide Association. And more to that, I am a plastic titana and a climate advocate. I'll give more context to it. Kenya Girl Guides has partnership with the UN Environmental Program, not only in Kenya, but also it's in the world, since we are under an umbrella organization known as the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts. And in Kenya, since the UNEP is really close to home, we've partnered directly with UNEP, and we are running the Plastic Titanas program, which has been running since 2019. So the program itself is geared on raising awareness around plastic pollution and how it's affecting our ecosystem. Not only understanding plastics from a personal point of view, understanding plastics from a community point of view, and also understanding how all this plays or interplays with each other. And when we say that there's plastic pollution in our waterways, we look at the highlands where the rivers tributaries are starting to even where they are draining in our lakes, our oceans, and our seas. Since 2019, we've done a lot of groundwork in changing mindsets and behaviors for our volunteers in Kenya Girl Guide Association to just let them understand how plastic is actually connected to climate change, and also how can we reduce our plastic footprint, right, as individuals. So just getting that behavioral change from a personal level. And the next stage of our training would be now to go to the community and here mobilize the communities, the local communities around us, starting at the family level, in schools, in our locales at home. So do they understand plastics? And we are raising a lot of awareness and doing a lot of community action project, co-creating these sessions with the community themselves at community level for us to actually understand, yes, we'll be doing cleanups, but cleanups is not the only thing that we can do, right? Because we really need to ensure that we are actually tackling this. Because one thing that we noticed is that we're doing a lot of cleanups at the same area, and we really didn't understand, okay, so why are we going back and doing the same thing at the same place? So we understood that, the problem or the gap there would be that the community around us might not really understand the effect plastic poses. So just having those co-creation sessions to actually even bring the community on board to have that understanding was very key. And then at national level, where we got to inform a lot of policy around plastics, and also sitting on tables where we have decision makers and really advocating for the voice of the young people, the girls, the voice of the boys at ground level or in our local communities, to ensure that they are heard. And one thing for sure, we realize that we are, as young people, we are really passionate about saving our planet and creating a good environment for us and also the future generation. So how can we do that? How can we bring that into practicality? And this is something that has been ongoing since 2019 till now, and we've seen a lot of milestones. We've had a lot of milestones, we've had a lot of successes, and I know we'll get deeper into it. And also we've seen some challenges here and there, and we've had different ways to mitigate these challenges in the country and have more and more young people and even children be trained or get the awareness around plastic pollution and its relation to climate change. That's what we've done with the Plastic Titaners project in Kenya Girl Guide Association. So back to you, Tim.
Okay, so
May I just sort of ask a few questions on and from there and a little bit off the book, as it were, and just going along there. When you go about this and you look at the situation around with the plastics and you work with the guides and stuff, how do they feel about that fundamentally? I mean, are they do they hear a message, or do they follow through? Or I mean, how would you describe, how do they respond to that?
Oh yeah, sure. So based on our programming and how we do our curriculum in the plastic space, you'd find that we have different levels. We have the entry level, then the leader level, and the hero level. So at entry level, this is where we get young people, or the Girl Guides, come in and understand their own plastic footprint, right? So it's more intentional for them to understand their relationship with plastic and see if there is, we really do not want to, we know there's a problem, yes, right? However, understanding the problem is very crucial for us to know the different interventions that we can take. So one thing that we realize is that young girls and women are really passionate about this. They really don't know how to make their voice heard or amplified, but at a personal level, you'd find that we are really conscious of plastics, how we use plastics, where plastics are from, and just changing behavior. Like, one thing, having plastic, have a reusable bottle. So inculcated it even into our own programming, So even as we go to school, those are the things that we champion. In the communities, those are the things that we champion. And even at global level, because we are a global body, we champion that. So even during our events, we are actually championing that through, one thing we need to say, ensure you have a reusable bottle. We want to be sustainable. We want to take care of our planet. So that's the entry level of it. And when we feel like the girls and the young women have actually done what is required, because it's a whole curriculum, they now go to the leader level, where they now lead community action projects in their communities. So the information that they have, now bringing it from an individual to a community and having co-creation sessions at community level. And then at hero level, this is where now they become advocacy champions. They do an advocacy project around plastics. So you'd find that depending on where the girls and young women are, they'll have different advocacy points or different things that they want to advocate around, especially in the plastic scope. And how does that look like? So we go down to contextualize the advocacy at that level, so that even when they're reaching out to the decision makers, we really understand the ecosystem that they are working with. And we are with the girls all the step of the way. Yeah.
So how old are they when they start, and when they go to, kind of the next level, and when they are, become heroes? Is that, I presume, you start them fairly young. I presume they don't immediately become the heroes. It takes a little bit of time.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So currently we've been working with girls as young as 6 years at entry level. So, and just growing that. However, we realize that we have, young adults that do not really understand the plastic ecosystem or what is happening with climate change. So even at that level, we are meeting them at that level. So with Girl Guiding, we have different branches, right? And different branches, you have branches between the ages of, so the girls that we work with under plastic, most especially, are between 6 years to 25 years. And for the 6 years to 10, they have a curriculum. From the 10 to 13, they have a curriculum. 13 to 17, a curriculum. And then 18 to 25, going 30, right? They also have the curriculum, so that this information at entry level is contextualized to the age and the level of understanding that they have, right? So based on this, when you have a 6-year-old really grow, and you'd find that it takes around 8 to 12 weeks to finish the entry level activities, and then they go to the leader level, which will take a bit longer, which will take at least 4 months, because they'll really need to mobilize the community, do a community action project. And then the hero level is, an ongoing journey, because this is now we are advocating, right? And really looking at policies and seeing how we can actually amplify our voice or put our voice for the girls and young women.
So what seems to be, sorry, Kim.
Sorry. Yeah,
what seems to be amazing about it is this is not just about plastics. There's a huge amount of sort of empowerment. That's actually what you're bringing through. And the plastics is really just a mechanism to really allow that to come.
Yes, very, very true. So you'd find that we are using this, it's more or less a vessel. So we are having a lot of amplification of voices, empowering the girls and the young women in the movement on things climate change, right? Because this is one aspect to it when it comes to climate education. And you'd find that slowly by slowly, we are now building more capacity around climate education by the partnerships that we are building, not only with UNEP. We have other local players in the country, and we want to have, that scope well, that our girls and our young leaders really understand when it comes to, climate education, advocacy, and policy. So partnerships are very, very key to us. Research is also very key. So just even capacity building in terms of the organization, in terms of climate research, looking at climate from a gender lens, because we are a girl-led organization. And you'd find that with climate change, girls and young women affected more, right? So looking at it from a gender lens and seeing what are the interventions that we can have to meet the needs of our girls and young women in our local communities is very, very key. And all this is through doing research, listening to them, listening to the girls, and also seeing what girls are passionate about in their local community. So it's more of I might say a bottom-up kind of approach, but also equipping and capacity building the different branches and having different partners come in, because we understand we really need to do a lot of partnerships to really understand the climate space deeply and see what can be birthed out of it, just like with the plastic project that we've been doing.
So would you mind giving a sort of, just some sort of situations of how, as the climate devastations and the climate impacts kind of extend, what girls feel in that way? It doesn't have to be things that only girls, but essentially I think there's a perspective difference. I think, I know I've got 2 daughters and 2 sons and they see things differently. Anyway.
Yeah. Especially in this context, in the African context and where we live in, you'd find that something like gender roles really play still part of our, the society. So you'd find that girls have certain roles at home, which are more household. And when there's change in climate and when there's, when there's drought or long periods without rain, you go fetch water to come to the household chores, which we've actually seen. And this actually seeps in even into the other facets of life, because you'd find that they might, quote unquote, they might be late to school because they were doing something at home and it had to take a longer time, right? And you'd find something that is coming up, especially in the western region part of the country. You have something called sex for water, sex for fish, right? Where you have young girls are actually exchanging, using sex to get the basic needs like water, because they are the ones who are actually going to get the water to do the household chores. So some of these things have come up and we've been tackling them even at local community level to see how can we mitigate climate change to ensure that the girls and the young women are not put in this situation where we have different different things that are coming up, like gender-based violence out of this, or them dropping out of school. We have a new angle now where we are looking at menstruation, right? Period poverty around it, because we find sanitation, water is something that is very, very key to us. So as young women, even during the menstruation, when we're menstruating, so you'd find that girls even are not going to school because they would not even get the proper sanitation hygiene or hygienes that they need. So even what are the alternatives that are there? Are these alternatives even, more or less accepted in the society? So we are living in an area or in a context where we need a lot of, education and also support to ensure that we have interventions that are really addressing what we are facing when we are facing the effects of climate change as it is right now. So even other than that, we're looking at economically empowering these girls in this space, right? Because what we do a lot, you'd find that in the local communities that we have. So let me just use the plastic project that we have, the plastic titaners. Other than community cleanups and all, we have gone a notch higher and started recycling these plastics, and you'd find that girls are now, and the young women in the program are now selling some of these recycled products, and they're earning income, right? Especially with the young women, and we've had entrepreneurs come out of this, and they are trying to solve for their own communities and teaching young women in their communities how we can make this, they can be economically empowered through this. So when you look at it from different facets, climate change actually is a common thread among many issues that girls and young women are facing, and tackling that would actually help reduce the burden that, you know, we are facing to ensure that, you know, gender equality is actually, and equity is actually achieved by 2030, and we're in 2023. Yeah, so we have
wow. That's an incredible story. It's just incredible. So what are the kind of obstacles do you see? I mean, you know, you mentioned things like just the fact that, you know, the idea of kind of sex for water and sex for fish, as you describe, is like, wow, really amazing, incredible that should be happening. But as you talk about being able to find an economic livelihood and economic independence, it sort of turns the table on those things. And how is the rest of kind of the communities and things responding to that?
So slowly by slowly, like it's a mindset shift, right? Because we are product of our own socialization, and sometimes we are, you know, we are accustomed to some things and it feels or looks normal. So that having the community even engaged from the get-go, we found that it's really, really important for them to understand, right? Because we do not want to have any animosity in the community. You know, we do not want to look like you're empowering one and leaving the other. So it would be more
Right.
Understanding the nuances that are in the community or in the society that we live in, the society that we live in, and understanding, okay, so with these nuances, how can we go around, or how can we go about empowering them? Girls and young women in this particular community to be, like said, economically empowered, but still it's not us giving them the solution, but the solution is coming from them, right? So having those co-creation activities or co-creation sessions have been really, really useful to us, because we get to understand the needs of the community and get to see where they're coming from, really empathize, because we, you know, most of the times you'd find that you think you know, but if you are not really part of that community deeply, you might overlook something. So just even empathizing, immersing in the local community, trying to understand the different needs, their different motivations, their different goals in whatever they do, right? And getting that feedback and ensuring that even in our programming, as we even design our programs, we are actually involving them, and they feel like, you know, the solutions that you're coming with, they're actually community led, they're not led by us, right? So that's one thing that we've seen with community engagement and community action planning that has really helped us to make, you know, to ensuring that we have the community on board and support the cause that we are pushing.
There's a lot of lesson I'm sure we can all learn from that, and there's so much there. Well, one of the things that we have, one of the segments we have, and I'd actually quite like to ask if it's possible, maybe in some ways, to gather some of the people you work with, in a sense. It's called Daughters and Sons, and it's this idea that, you know, I was born in Hong Kong, and Hong Kong in Asia, the relationship is always that people older than you are always your aunties and uncles. It's not a statement of a blood relation. It's just a relationship that, you know, you call them aunties, you call them uncles. And the aunties and uncles are full of advice constantly about you should do this, you should do that. And the aspect of daughters and sons is that with climate causing us to really, the truth of climate is simply that we need to change and we need to transform along. And it's an opportunity to try to get the younger people, the ones who would be receiving those advice, to come forward and actually give voice to what advice would they give instead, in that way, to turn the table on it. I don't know if that would interest, you know, the people you work with, or because what you seem like is they are undergoing that exact transformation. They are the ones who actually are seeing the world in a very different way.
Yeah, sure. And that's what we do, because we really want to amplify these voices. And for us, one of the things that is really center in Girl Guiding is amplifying the voices of girls and young women around issues that they are passionate about. So the practicalities, the how, or how we go about amplifying the voices is actually in the design of our methodology, right? So we'd want them to take the lead. We'd want them to work together, to collaborate together, because it's not, we do not live in a siloed society, and also our societies are not homogeneous, right? So even when you're looking at climate change from that angle, is that, okay, so what are the needs of this community? Who can we collaborate with? Who can help us amplify? Who can we influence, right? So I have one of a success story. Something has come to mind right now of a young girl who comes from Kisii County, which is in Kenya, and she used her family, her local, the family friends to actually influence policy at the government level, the county government level. And what she wanted actually was actually input and was part of the agenda that the governor of Kisii County actually took up and made it law around waste management in Kisii town. And you'd find that she actually, even from her tender age, her young age, she got buy-in from her parents, her grandparents, the family friends, and they really had her, and they used, her passion to influence legislative process to make her world a better place. So for us, we really, even in our context, the older generation really plays a crucial role in, because we say with, age comes wisdom, and they quote unquote know better because they have lived more. But just even finding that balance of having an intergenerational talk around this issue, and how can we build on the good things that have already been done, or the things that the older generation have actually championed. How can we build onto that and ensure that we are now even making it better, right? So it's not an us thing, it's very collaborative with the different generations to ensure that even for the future generation, we are making it much easier for them to help in this climate change, to come and really even advocate and speak around climate change, and ensuring that they're just building up on what we've already done, right? So it's step by step, and we're building on each other. So I feel like there's a role for everyone to play here, not only the young people, but even the older generation, and also the young upcoming generation.
I think it would be, I would be really excited to see we can invite them together and just have that part where they can just, chat, converse, and, talk about how they might do things, or the examples, and be able to have that shared, with other people around. It sounds so empowering, just this aspect where they're able to do that, where traditionally, the terms that age comes wisdom is also followed by a certain degree of saying, therefore you should listen to me and just do what I say. And I think you're actually turning that around, but most remarkably, you're doing that in a way that persuades them that, the youth actually have insight also. And so I'd really like to be able to see, there's a chance to invite them along and just talk about, how they got it to work, what was the process, what was the, how did it feel? Must have been nerve-wracking. I can imagine at the same time. Sorry, Tim.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, if that's an honest sort of invitation, so if it's possible, that would be fantastic. It would be something that would be really great, great to have, because I think that really fits into this aspect of what we hope to achieve with the segment we call Daughters and Sons.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, and I'm really excited about the conversation that we're having, because a few minutes ago we were having a conversation about plastic waste, and we were having a nice engagement by one called Eddie Gitonga, who has a nice innovation that helps to that's built on AI and IoT that helps to help people collect waste. And it was among the things that we that came up from the conversation was the first need that is there for people to embrace circular economy is a change of mindset, and that is in line with what you're doing. So I really appreciate that, and I just have a query to you, and it was how does the Girl Guide organization inspire a sense of responsibility and personal commitment to environment sustainability among its members?
Awesome. So that is really rooted into our founder. So I can give just a brief, very, very brief history about our founder, who is Lord Baden-Powell, and he loved the outdoors, right? And one thing that we are really keen around Girl Guiding in our method, in our methodology, in our non-formal methodology, is that we have to connect to our environment, right? So we have one thing that we say, that a Girl Guide respects and preserves nature, and that is something that has been inculcated to us since we were small, coming up, just growing up, that we really need to love and preserve and also respect nature. And the thing would be the fact that we, as Kenya Girl Guides, we have one of our key pillars is environment, is something that has made us really look at, okay, so what can we do in the environment space, right? There's a time that we're only planting trees, which is great, amazing work that we're doing. Okay, other than planting trees, what would be the next step, right? And when we were coming up with our strategic plan, one thing that came up is that we really need to advocate and really understand this space when it comes to the circular economy, and even how we can mitigate climate change, and what are the things. And that's why we have, intentional partnerships with the partners that we have, because they are actually part of, helping us achieve our mission. And the fact that we only have, especially in our we are very patriotic as Girl Guides, and we love our country and seeing our country become, better. And how do we do that? And that is just by preserving our environment. So the how is what we are very we champion. So what are the different ways to preserve our environment? And as we preserve our environment, we become champions, we become environmental champions, and we take care of the things that we love doing, because we do a lot of outdoor activities, and our outdoor activities will not happen if we do not stay or live in a good environment. So it is in our promise, it is in our law, it is part of our strategic plan, and it's also part of our DNA based on our founder, that environment is very, very key, and we are mandated to protect it and to preserve it the best way we know how. Yeah. So we have a lot of programming around it. I think we can I talk about even some of our programming that we have, other than the Plastic Titaners project we have.
Sorry, I just muted. Absolutely. I mean, absolutely, because really the whole aspect of what I'm coming to appreciate very much is the way in which the things all connect, and if we try to separate it into just this or just that, we lose actually the fact that the whole transformation that spreads across all aspects. So please, yes, absolutely.
Okay, awesome. So one of our pillar at Kenya Girl Guide is the green ambassador. So when talking about being a green ambassador, we're talking about us as having girls and young women actually spearheading conservation, actually spearheading things to do with preserving our environment. And one thing that we are looking at now is how can a 6-year-old be a green ambassador or be an environmental champion. Can be as easy as ensuring that their school is clean, and the fact that our non-formal education method allows for that, because in our curriculum we have so with our curriculum you'll find that we have activities that the girls need to do in school and also in their local community to actually show that they have actually preserved their environment. And they have to show, because we all say that we earn badges, and you earn a badge when you've actually done something and it has actually been seen. So we are empowering our girls at that tender age to actually earn these badges. So by the time they're earning the badges, they have actually done activities in our program books, the activities that revolve around environmental, taking care of, picking up waste around school, ensuring that they're properly segregated, ensuring that we understand what type of waste this is. This is something that is organic. This is something that cannot be recycled. Just understanding that even different types of waste, and also holding themselves accountable. And what we've seen, this permeates even to their homes, and they even at home they are now telling their parents, you know what, mommy, no, we need to throw, this is a banana peel, this is organic, we need to throw it here, right? And this is something that we have inculcated in our curriculum. So by the time they're 6 and a young leader who is in their 30s, they understand things to do with waste management. They understand innovation around how can we better ensure that we are ensuring that we are reducing plastic, we are segregating waste, we are even teaching people or teaching the community around proper waste management, and ensuring that we really understand also the different roles that we can take up and we can play even at local level to ensure that we are capacity building other people who might not be part of girl guiding. Because like I've said, we are only a girl-led organization. However, our girls in the local community can reach out to more young people, regardless of gender, and also of age. So how are we bringing them on board to ensure that they also understand how this program and also the benefits of it, right? Because you'd find that the benefits of planting a tree, I might not have the benefits now of planting a tree or growing a tree, rather, because we say we grow trees, but my future generation will actually appreciate that we did this, right? Because the trees that we're having now, someone grew them and someone planted them. So even just motivating and just understanding, this is not something that maybe we are going to get instant rewards or instant gratification. It's something that it's very future facing, and we can ensure that we are saving, or we are building an ecosystem that even our future generations are going to actually enjoy and appreciate the work that we did at this time when we had, when we have all the energy.
I'm sitting here, I'm listening to you, and I'm in London, and I get this impression, which is very, very bizarre, because people talk about how the rich world and places like Kenya and stuff, and the distinction I find is there is so much real involvement and concern and care about the environment, about empathy with each other, about dealing with very tough problems, really, as young people, in the optimism that's expressed by it. And on the other side, what I see much more from where I am amongst the young people I deal with in this country and so on is very much an opposite. It's very much a certain lethargy, a certain sort of, it's beyond us, we can't deal with it, or whatever it is. And the future just doesn't strike me as being here, it strikes me as being where you are. the future, it strikes me as, you know, the revolution, the evolution, the transformation is happening. It is alive. It is going on through. And the comments, I was on a Zoom call earlier today, and there was a comment about how, you know, the poorer world will suffer devastated by climate, and the richer world doesn't care because they think they'll be okay. And what I am hearing is actually the people in the world that others would like to say is poorer is so much richer in their energy and optimism that I think is not true. I think that's because they have already started moving, and they haven't moved in the way of saying we need the big money before we move. They've moved to say we face these things every day. Let's do something about it, and they do. You know, when you talk about earning the badges, not the thing that gets me is not only do you do, but you have to be seen to have done it. That's really huge, because it's sort of saying I have to be able to allow myself to come through so that people can see me as me. In a way, and that's just feels like a really huge thing. It's not just that, you know, and that's so much speaks so much again to the advocacy that you take them to in that way, and so. But how much do the guides and the scouts work together? Are they you know, is this a parallel journey, or do you never actually talk?
We actually do things together. We are a brother and sister organization, and even with the plastic Titaners, we are in it together, both Girl Guides and Scouts. However, our programming is a bit different, because for Girl Guides is, like I've said, it's girl-led, right? So our programs are very gendered to some extent. So we look at programs from a gender point of view, or using gender lens, and we actually look at it from, you know, what are the girls and young women facing, and that's why I've been referencing them a lot in this conversation. But I understand also, because the Scouts is also co-ed, it has both boys and girls. They have their programs also that actually help them champion for the different causes that they are advocating for. So we are rooted in the same, we have the same foundation, and most of the things are pretty similar, but it's just how we run our programming and who our main target. Yeah.
Yeah, it's you know, it's for me, it's so different. I think here in where I am, in my parish, there's a whole the scouts use it, the guides sort of use it, but they are very much sort of, you know, young children. They belong to it. It's almost the attitude, prevalent attitude is a female thing. But what you're talking about is nothing like that. What you're talking about really is, you know, we lead the world. Is a whole different perspective.
Yeah, very true. And we say, if it's not guiding, it has to be fun, right? Because we would want us to embrace this activity from even a fun perspective, and that's the role of, you know, we have the different branches, and one thing that we've seen like really support like our activities are the adult volunteers. So I'm a volunteer. I volunteer with the Girl Guides, and I volunteer to support the younger children who are coming up, right? So we even have a whole, it's like a web of mentorship, because we have Girl Guides who are also 100 years or maybe close to 100 years, and they just, you know, when we talk about the intergenerational conversations, we actually have them with them, right? And they mentor us and they give us the wisdom that they have, and we see, oh, maybe what about this way, can we look at it? So it's very much a very safe space for us, regardless of age. And the adult volunteers, actually, we say Girl Guiding is for girls, young women, and adult volunteers, because the role of the adult volunteers is really felt, and we wouldn't be where we are without the volunteers that we have.
Yeah, that's amazing. Tim?
Yeah, great. Nice conversation there. Again, I'm really fascinated by what you're saying, and at least you've unraveled one question I've always had. That is the difference between Girl Guides and the Scouts, and now it's clear on my end. And maybe just a question, as we probably are coming to wrap it up. Maybe you can share if there are any challenges that you faced through. Of course, there are. Maybe you can share with us. And also how does the organization, that is the Girl Guide organization, encourage girls to think globally while acting locally in the context of climate change?
Thank you. I'll start with how does our organization encourage us to think globally?
Yeah.
And so we are a movement, and we are part of the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts, right? And the movement or the association represents, we have 152 member organizations who are part of the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts, and we are open to discuss. So we are not siloed. So we have different regions, and with this different region, Africa region, Western Hemisphere, Europe region, and the Asia Pacific region. And what we do is actually through our programming, we get to interact a lot with what is happening in various regions. Sometimes we thought that this is maybe, our own problem, an African problem and all. But slowly by slowly, when we get to speak to the other girls and other Girl Guides from other parts of the world, this is something that we are all facing. And we come together to ensure that, how can we now help each other or support each other in this space? And what are the interventions that can actually be contextualized in our own local spaces that have roots from a global scale, right? Yes, we understand the issue of climate change is global, but even looking at it from a local context now, yes, understanding it and ensuring that the interventions that we are making at global scales trickle down to even the local level. So even now at COP28, we have a group of advocates from the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts from different countries who are actually participating physically in Dubai and just bringing forefront some of the challenges that the girls have been facing, girls and young women have been facing when it comes to matters climate change. So due to that, it gives us a very global outlook to just understand what's happening and understand it now from a local perspective. So with this, how can we contextualize these two? What is happening to Kenya, right? What is happening to Kenya might not be what is happening, for example, to Norway, for example. So, but how can we come together, speak around this common issue, and then come up with those interventions locally? And it actually feeds to what we do at a global scale and the impact and that is felt globally at that level. Some of the challenges that we face, one, especially when it comes to girls and young women in this space, and one, behavioral change, right? It takes so much time, and it's okay because we are, our habits are based on our socialization, right? But those small changes, because I know one time we were having a workshop, and some of the advocates that we have, the climate advocates that we have, were like, I don't understand why my community is not embracing this, right? And it was really frustrating for them. And to just understand that behavior might take some time. However, we should not lose hope that things are not changing, we are not seeing the change right now. So we need to just be consistent and understand advocacy really takes a long time, and we just need to ensure that we understand why we are talking about what we are talking about, especially when or advocating around ensuring that we have proper mitigation strategies when it comes to climate change, and we should not tire in it to ensure that once you tire, you're going to have like a gap or a vacuum, because if you're not speaking out, who is, right? And just encouraging the girls to just keep on going, even though they're not seeing the change right now, the change will definitely come, right? And we are making the change, and we are pursuing the change, and we'll definitely have change, because we are really optimistic about ensuring that, this climate topic will actually change, and will now embrace a lot of circularity in what we do. Another thing that we face, especially as girls and young women at community level, would be still the gender stereotypes that are there, especially the role of girls and the role of young women, especially in this context, yeah, and just trying to even bust myths around that, and showing really that girls can actually, be lead and forefront. In Kenya, the Nobel laureate Wangari Maathai opened up this beautiful space for girls and young women, to just look at themselves as, climate advocates. And you'd find that girls as young as, 10 actually talking about climate, and that we are really, really proud of that. And we know these trailblazing women have opened up these doors for us. So what are we still doing, right? We really do not want to fall back or move back and be held back, but still go on with the same passion, with the same zeal, to ensuring that we are making our voices heard, and actually our needs are actually being heard, even by the government, and also influencing those policies. And another thing around this is just building more and more capacity. We realize, and that's why we are collaborating, we realize that we do not know everything, and there's so many things that we can learn from each other, right? In terms of want to get capacity building, in terms of research, how can we even have girls really research around, even in their local context, right? And bring out some of the findings that they found out, other than just doing, community actions and advocating what is the next step, right? Being publishing this research, right? And this research informing policy. So just building capacity around climate education, to ensuring that we end policy and advocacy, and ensuring that we get the whole picture, because we really don't want to be siloed again, and we really don't want to think that what we do is, the only thing that is being done. There's so many things being done, and we really need, we are now forging those partnerships to build our capacity around climate, and hopefully, even with the years to come, as we are monitoring and evaluating our impact, we can see even change and see more impact in our communities based on the partnerships and the interventions that we've had. So in a nutshell, those are some of the things that we are facing right now, and some of the interventions, and how we'd want, what the future looks as for us. And we are really, like I said, we're really, really optimistic around this, and wanting to learn more, and also, give, voice to power, and really advocate more around climate issues in this space, and also innovate, right? Because it's not only about advocacy, but even seeing youths as innovators. How can us as young women be in this space, be in the circular economy, work around that? We are really privileged to, when King Charles did his visit to Kenya, we're really privileged to actually even showcase what we do as Girl Guides with the plastic tide turners to him directly. And we had a conversation, and even with that conversation, it sparked a lot of, we need, these are some of the things that we can even work on to even build more capacity around what we do, and also around the innovations that we have in the space. So that's something also we are looking at. And yeah, the future is bright for us, for the young people in Africa, for the young people in Kenya, for the young people in the world. And we will definitely solve, this. I don't think we are going to take, I don't think this is an issue that is all doom and gloom. It's not. And we are really championing for a lot of innovation using technology, innovation using, indigenous practices that we've had, as African communities, how we can even inculcate that in the things that we're doing and the innovations that we have. So, yeah, thank you.
You're much welcome. You're much welcome. And it's really nice hearing you share all this. And I'm presuming there are young ladies out there who will, who get inspired by what you do at an individual level and also at an organization level. So what inspiration will you give them?
Your voice matters, and you really don't need to understand the lingo. You really don't need to understand the nitty-gritties as much, If you are passionate about something, speak out, right? We amplify your voice, speak out, and share your ideas with the world, and the world will embrace it. It's actually a good world out here, right? And our voices as young women, as girls, really do matter. So speak out, stand up and speak out, and make the world a better place. Yeah.
Thank you. I like that.
You've inspired me. Yeah.
David?
I feel inspired by what you're saying. And certainly, I mean, if there's a chance to be able to have a group of you with kind of the intergenerational dialogue and have an opportunity to record that and feature that along, that would be really great, because I think that's the sort of conversations that are really important. And on the other side, excuse me, we started this because of addressing the question of oil and gas and coal, and there are two issues with that. One side of that is, how can you have livelihoods without them? So that's an empowerment question, and that's a question of how can you face yourself into a future which is different from today and still feel that you can go forward. And you've answered that in really, really strong voices in that way. And the other side of that is, how do you make it economical to not dig them out, so that you can actually potentially make money with that by not digging them out in that way. And I'll come to think that actually that there is an economic model which can work, which is simply that, just as for people to grow trees, you can pay for people not to dig them out. The money that is paid for not digging them out can be the money used to grow the trees. So you actually achieve not digging them out and growing the trees. Whereas at the moment, you dig them out, get the money, and then you pay to grow the trees, which is the wrong way around. And what you're describing is just like, I think for the model I'm describing to work, which is where you pay for it not to dig them out, so that the money you pay goes to grow the trees, needs your voices to express it and to capture it, and then that's how it will catch, because there's so much power in what you say. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you for being here with us. We hope you have found it helpful for you as well. But we certainly have learned a lot from it, and we certainly look forward to kind of being able to spread your message to all the audiences in that way. So thank you. And Tim?
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Actually, it's a really, really good opportunity to just speak about what we do as Girl Guide, and and spread our guiding light everywhere.
Yes, thank you so much for making this happen. And we can't end it another way, but just to say it was an interesting and an eye-opening and also an informative session that we've had. And I hope that this will go a long way to inspire other people out there, and also, bring out those thought-provoking questions, even as we forge forward to uh, participate in trying to remedy our planet. So that's the end of it. We come to the end of it, and I say thank you so much. And until we meet again, God bless you and have a nice time. Yeah, an interesting conversation we had with Aggie and David Cole, and I must say that the nuggets were so amazing, and it was really nice to hear what the Girl Guides are doing, how they are nurturing young ladies to become responsible young older women, if I may put it that way, that are conscious about environment. And it was really inspiring to to hear about even how they have badges for each level. Once a young lady, uh, you know, uh, proves that she's competent, after getting equipped a certain skill, then they're given another badge, to try and you know, improve their understanding on how to take care of the environment, and that is really great. It also shows that there is that intergenerational uh, education whereby the young get to learn from the old, and also the young get the older get to listen from the young people as well. And that is, I think, what ought to be, in this contemporary world where as opposed to years back then, where it would be the older people just telling people young people what to do. But we are living in a time where young people also ought to be listened to, and that is great. So Collins, what's your reflection on that conversation that you just had?
Uh, okay, thanks, Tim. It's very inspiring, story to hear from Aggie. You can hear me, Tim?
Yes, sure.
Who's tipping over the tipping point? This is supposed to be a
Okay, thank you.
So
I was just
sorry,
saying
that was
it's a very okay. I was just saying it's a very inspiring story to hear from Aggie. And truthfully speaking, I always hear about these Kenya Girl Guides, and most cases I only relate to the camps and whatever we see them out here. But I'm amazed at the kind of work, passion, and this patriotic spirit in them, and the impact they're actually doing, particularly to amplify the voice of the girls and the young women. And for me, which it really inspires me to just watch her speak, from climate education, the mentorship aspect, all the way to the innovations that actually they are working around to ensure uh, young people have the skills and the platform to be able to influence. Particularly the story even about the uh, their young person. I think in Kisii County, she mentioned about a story where part of their work is actually putting into decision making that actually influences policy making at the county level. And I think it's so inspiring to hear that. Yes, Tim.
Yeah, I agree with you, Collins, and that shows how young people can do once given an opportunity. It's just a matter of availing opportunities to them, and then they just work wonders. Imagine a young lady coming up with something that the local government, uh, county government implements. That is really great, and I think that speaks volume even as the COP conversation goes on. I think for the negotiators and the government agencies, it is prudent. It is for them to allow young people, you know, give them chance to to execute what they know best, and for sure they will not disappoint. And that is the invitation we are making. And I also loved the aspect of them, whereby they encourage the young ladies to think globally and act locally. And that's exactly what we're doing here. We're taking we're having this global conversation and taking them locally to, across the globe. So it was really an interesting conversation, and it's just an eye-opening and motivating to see how such an organization can mentor young people, young ladies for that matter, to becoming responsible people who, with them, we are sure that our future is great. Our future is great because there are people who will rise up to the occasion. Yes, that's it, and it's been incredible, amazing. Now on our lineup, we are in for some fun. We are in for some fun. We listen to some comedy by one Nico, and it's a recording that was done by one of us called Richard Buseleto. So let's enjoy and have some fun as well. Just they say that work without play make Jack a dull boy.
Featuring various bits and aspects with the sole purpose of ensuring that you can keep on laughing sustainably, of course, nothing else. So with me today, I obviously have the other half, Dr. David Coe, but he's not the interesting bit, because we have up in the cold depths of Scotland, we have Nico with us. And more importantly, we have Katie Critchlow with us. And from much sunnier part, we have Ian Kaplan with us. So, welcome. And the format here is a little bit loose, but we are supposed to score points based on various segments of the show. And we're going to start out looking at basically the most unsustainable products we could pick up. So I'm going to hand over to David, and he's going to send us off with the first product. And then we're going to have around why we love this product so much and what we see as a few. You get the first.
And of the various people. So, myself and Richard, we've come from very much a hardcore background. So we understand about how you persuade people to buy things they don't need. That's basically our skill, our superpower there. Nico, actually, he's living up in Scotland, so he's way up in the north, but he comes from Zimbabwe, which is way down in the south. So he represents that union between what people call the global north and the global south. Now, how that ended up in Scotland, I don't know, but maybe he'll tell us. And Katie has an illustrious career within the sustainability and actually within the commercial area of actually making the businesses to be how we dream of businesses becoming. And so she has that experience and maybe some of the cynicism that can color just how we can look at the products and really understand what goes on behind the scene. And Ian is there. He is from a background where he's entrepreneurial and has been about how you can bring technology and bring entrepreneurial spirit to products. And Richard and I tell him, you know what, as soon as the money gets in there, it all gets corrupted. And so we have great fun talking about that. So thank you very much to everybody. And now let's bring on some of these things. I think what we can.
Hello, everyone. Yes, you cannot live without it. You can live without it. But I'm thinking about the disaster that makes after it's used. But if you can clean your own lungs out of cancer, you can use it. But I'm going to pass to David to warm up my jokes.
What I'm thinking of actually is the London souvenirs. I think we can definitely do without that. I mean, you know, who would want to bring souvenirs or these little gimmicky toys of buses that are red that come with them?
But you have kids, don't you? Kids love buses. Red double-decker buses are a hit. I mean, trust me, you know, first 3 times I went back after we moved to the UK, I only brought buses with me. All the kids love them, irrespective of age. I mean, you get to the point when they stop loving them, but, you know, from like 1 to 10, they all love red buses. It's amazing. London souvenirs, no, we want to keep them as long as they're red buses.
Can I chip in on there? For me, cannot live with that leaf of weed because I'm allergic to the police. So that might make my life difficult.
Yeah, and
Granted.
But you know what I think is, it's got that CBD on, so everybody sees this and they think what they're doing is they're smoking the weed, but actually, it is actually filtered out, right? The stuff you have in there is not the or so my son tells me, it's not the real thing.
Yeah, but maybe we should clarify. But should we clarify what CBD stands for? For old schoolers like me who prefer to roll up, what does CBD actually stand for? Do we know, David?
We're all buying it. We just don't know what it is.
I'm gonna just make for a joke. I'm gonna tell you a joke about CBD. Stand for cowards, bastards, and dogs. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
English is not my first language. I just understand.
I think that's a great definition. So, but instead, I am going to go along. And today's world, with these things, you can always just hop over into Wikipedia or wherever it is in finding out. Have you ever had those conversations where you're talking with someone and they're like desperately looking up everything you say on their phone?
I'm not that smart. Most people understand exactly what I'm saying. I'm a man of few words. When they start looking up my vocabulary, the world is in real trouble, trust me.
So, is CBD a drug? Yep, it's a chemical and cannabis sativa plant, also known as cannabis for hemp. It's an approved drug for seizures. Is it better than Viagra? That's the bit that everybody knows. It's not a replacement for Viagra.
It's not. Oh.
I like the idea that I can use my phone to call a Rastafari and maybe get classified that one. No,
so I'm sorry to disappoint you there, Richard. You cannot use this instead of Viagra.
Shocking, really.
But of course, the real problem here is the vaping, isn't it? And what happens with the vaping is you end up putting in a battery in there, and you end up having these things where, for all the talk about how we need our battery stuff, and it's kind of like destroying communities and everything, making it, we're sticking into little plastic tubes with which we can breathe in stuff that our lungs are actually not designed to take. And at the same time, that we're just competing with all these we're competing with Elon Musk. Maybe he should have a word to say about this with his amazing Tesla cars and all that. So, Kate, what do you think? Is this a product you can do without?
I just wish, we'd sorted out smoking, pretty well, and then we just let this whole industry, and it's just blossomed and boomed, doesn't it, in the last few years? But I speak to our goddaughter at school. There's kids going into the toilets. They've had to ban kids from going to the toilet because they're vaping. They've got, these flavors, strawberry snow and fizzy gums and all this sort of thing, like really aimed at children, full of batteries that you throw away after one use. It's just such a shame that we've let the industry come up, and it's just such a good example of us letting corporate lobbying and profit making just go wild over just cents. But the actual effects of nicotine, my mother-in-law has chewed nicotine gum for about 30 years, and whenever I speak to her about pretty much anything, she reaches for a gum and puts it in her mouth. So I can tell I'm stressing her out. And so I think she's like a one-woman experiment that we could see the long-term effects of the nicotine on its own without the tobacco. So we're waiting to see what happens to lovely Wendy to see about that side of things. But the vapes, the reuse, the throwaway batteries, the kiddies flavors, just bin them. We don't need them.
Yeah. Okay. So no production of vapes from Katie there. But what does she do with the gum? Does she stick it under the table as we all used to do? Or?
Yes, Archie, she's a very sustainable, very frugal person, so she even puts it back in the packet and then gets it out again later when I'm stressed out all the time.
Oh dear.
Reusable gum.
Oh, bless her.
I like that. I like that indeed.
Exactly. No throwing away in that household.
What about Ian? You, Ian, how where do you go? Can we do without it, mate?
Well, I don't know, but seeing as how I neither smoke nor vape nor anything else, I'm probably the last person to be able to offer any kind of insight into either of the two of them. Well, it seems kind of strange to me that instead of using a match and lighting a little round thing and holding it, it's gone all electronic and batteries and plastics and sent all around the world for people to escape from reality. So you can probably guess what my answer is, right?
You're for.
Yeah.
I'm full for it. No. I definitely think we
Staunch
can do it.
supporter then.
Sorry, Richard.
Feels like Ian is a really staunch supporter of vaping. Yeah. I'm probably very much in his camp. What puzzles me with the whole vaping thing, right? And this has puzzled me ever since I first came across it is we live in 2023 and they probably came 5 years ago, whatever, for real. Maybe it's longer. Time travels so fast. We know smoking does a lot of really bad things to you, but ultimately it's a free choice. The real issue for me is like who should foot the bill for the healthcare that it causes. The rest is like, if you want to smoke and we manage to take away largely the risk of, passive smoking because it's banned pretty much everywhere, you go ahead. Now, smoking a cigarette, and this is someone I will readily admit, I love tobacco. Tobacco is a fantastic flavor. It's just that it does bad things to me. And I'm a reasonably rational person, so I opt out. I do not smoke. I have a cigar at New Year or maybe, summer party, I can light up a little cigarette. But there is a procedure around lighting a cigarette. This I've been told reliably by the many smokers I actually know. It's a ritual. It's a thing. It tastes good. You inhale it, it gives you a certain pleasure. I cannot see any romanticism, as a kid sneaking into the toilet, loading up the vape and saying, give me some strawberry flavor because I didn't get any fruit for lunch. It's like...
Oh, it's one of the 5 days.
Yeah, but the amount of nicotine in the vapes is like 100 times what there is in some of the cigarettes they found. It's just, there's no romanticism in it. It's just purely and simply like horribly addictive. So
wow.
Yeah,
that's amazing because I see the ad where they say it's 95% better than a cigarette or something. But you're saying
you're saying exactly the opposite, Kate. It's 95 times worse than the cigarette.
Well, in terms of the nicotine and the addictive, yeah. Because we had a friend who went to the doctors and he said you're taking in the equivalent of like 100 cigarettes a day or something like that with the vaping that he's doing, and he was like, oh gosh. Had no idea, but yeah, it's I think you can just keep going at it a lot longer because probably with the tobacco with smoking, like there's a carrying capacity for your lungs where they just stop a lot earlier. So yeah.
Okay, so Nico, we're going to need some points here, basically, and we're going to move.
You're the judge.
You've got me who's basically saying, London buses little toy London buses are worse. You've got Richard who's saying, is it better than Viagra? You've got Katie who says the best way is to chew gum, and you've got Ian who says what a waste of the batteries and the plastics and everything else.
Okay, how many points do I need to give each person? Oh, slow down, this one.
You can give me all the points.
I need a pen.
You're the judge, the jury, and the executioner. You can award exactly what you want. You have full control. Think of yourself as God.
I think the top points I'm going to be giving people will be 50 points up, down. Okay, I'm going to work at 50, 40, 30. Is that okay?
This is going to be like the 10, Eurovision 20, Song Contest, isn't it?
Yes. Who gets the nil one?
Okay.
God forbid.
I think I'm going to start by David. I'll give you 20 points.
Only 20? Oh, God.
Yeah, because I think people they get rid of all the monies very soon. They will. No one likes all these. What's called
souvenirs.
Yes, even as like me as a refugee, well, every time I look at that, I think, oh, what I'm doing here, But again, I don't know. I think it's good. I'm just doing it as a comedy, so please, it's not personal. It's just like so. I'll give it 20. I'll give Cat 30.
Oh,
because
that's
actually I
biased.
should give it more. I should give it more. Sorry, because you actually explained a lot as well, stuff that. But I'm looking at the funny side of it. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm not like it's not about what's going to happen in the production. It's about let's make fun of this on the planet and see that like that. But I had a very strange idea when Kesh was talking. I don't know if I can say it because sometimes my language can cross the world. I was thinking like if verbs they were visiting, if the verb would have verb versus vibrators, and then after the election, I think the vibrators will win. Anyway, so I'll give you. I'll give you 30 for that one.
Being a betting man, it's not convincing. No.
So how many points? How many points do you give for Katie?
I actually think I did see a
I'll
website for sustainable sex toys, so maybe we need to look that one up.
Really?
For next time. Yes,
we're found up on the next one, definitely.
Not that I was
Yes.
Googling for them.
Does it say find yourself a man who can last?
Okay, to go 40 points.
Okay.
40.
Now,
and
I was gonna give I'll give David 50. You know why? David, sorry, Richard, sorry.
Ian.
Richard, I'll give you 50. Because Richard, he actually make a joke about himself very much in a nice way, like the tobacco. Yeah, it's so nice. You know, I mean, we need that vibe of actually trying to sell the products, and then at the end, you refuse to sell it.
I will say it here and now. If tobacco had no adverse effects, I would smoke 100 a day. It's fantastic. It's just that it's bad for you.
Well, there you go. You know, this is the bit.
So
if we do these things which are genuinely sustainable, then you can do 100 a day and you can still live tomorrow. The problem is,
there are problems.
Yes.
Now, I think I forgot something because I'm confused. I think I don't know if we can write on the screen. If you are Remainer or Brexit, if you want the vibes to stay, you are Remainer. If you want the verbs, sorry, to be chucked away, maybe we should call it a leave. You know, I don't know, I'm trying to make it a little bit fun. Like you got leave, remain, and confused.com.
Okay, what about Ian? So I've got David at 20, Richard at 50, Katie 40, Ian is
15 because no, it's not. I'm giving points according like if you make people laugh. That I think that's the part of this laughing is sustainable.
Oh yeah. No, there's plenty of time to catch up. You know, we used to the world where we don't get forward, and we've been
Stop. Let us look at this screen. I'm in the lead. I haven't seen the lead since form cross country race because I ran the wrong way. Actually, I ran the right way, and everyone else ran the wrong way. That's amazing. Okay.
It might change, Richard, because the judge is still confused about the case here, but you might drop down to somehow, I don't know. But anyway.
All right, that was great. That was nice comedy over there, and I enjoyed. I was just laughing here on backstage, and I couldn't contain myself. And I think my best of all was Richard's jokes when he said that if if tobacco didn't have adverse effects, he would smoke 100 every day. So I found it hilarious. Collins, what is the deal joke? Did you enjoy it first?
Yeah, yes, team. Yes, I did enjoy. Yeah, that's the fun part about actually Richard saying yeah, it smells good for him despite the the health aspects of it. So yeah, that's the power of comedy and it helps us to bring the message home. So Tim, from your end, what do we have next?
Great. Now, in the spirit of fun, and I want us to get some few some interesting story by one of our musicians called Larry Dwayne from Kibera. He tell about his story, and also we get to enjoy his beat. So let's hear him out.
Hello, hello. Hello, hello. How are you guys? Good morning to you. It is like 7, not 7, like already 8 a.m. in Nairobi. So recently we have been experiencing like really heavy rains. As you can see, this is my space, and like there's a lot of leaks. There's like water here. I couldn't sleep here last night, and I'm not really worried because we're in a community where we work together to make our lives better, and that's why we thrive in just coming together to solve common issues like leakages and all that. And the person holding the camera is a friend of mine. He's going to help me do the repairs today, and that is what I call transformational ownership. When we when we put our efforts together and what we know in terms of our knowledge and skills to support each other, that is what I call transformational ownership, and it's for you.
Great. So that is Larry Dwayne. Just trying to depict a picture about how the adverse effects of climate change has made us has created the whole scenario. And he's at COP28, and we sorry for that. We want to listen to some of his sentiments while there. Him telling us what he's doing over there.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Coming live from Dubai, UAE. As you can see by my badge, still pushing for transformational ownership. Still for you. It is still for you. What I've been able to gather from all these discussions that's going on, because it's pretty high level. I had the privilege of getting the blue zone and the gray zone entry, and it's really private in a way that you can't really even come close. You can't even access all these leaders, and the youth inclusion is also in question. Not unless I'd say there's an advantage because I was also part of the team, part of the youth delegation that also aired out their views in regards to contributing to the policy, and we are going to deliver our statement probably on the 5th, because also like the meetings keep changing due to like, I don't know, emergencies or crisis meetings that keeps coming up with the leaders. But together with Yango, I was fortunate enough to be part of Yango, and we all contributed different policies in relation to our specific regions or issues that affect our specific regions, and they kind of relate to other regions around here. And what I was trying to do is just, in terms of my government, is to ask for transparency and to also ask, like, what's the delay? Because this is a really important COP out of all the other COPs. where governments really need to commit, and they have to show commitment even in their NDCs. There's supposed to be transparency, where I heard that they're also supposed to submit like some research behind it, and just how they were able to track down like each and every contribution that they did and what they were able to cap, they were able to reduce. So for me, I am promoting it for you. That's the movement, and also the symphony, connecting symphonies around the world, where we are saying, I want to sing tomorrow. So put a limit to all gas and coal today. It's true. A limit to oil, gas, and coal is our only way out, and a total transition into the green economy and green technology, where they are all accessible, affordable, and applicable to all other communities. I think that's key. So, second day, man. Second day of COP, our 12 days of COP, pushing transformational ownership on the ground. I believe to beat the system, you have to join the system. And this is how we do it. This is how we do it. And this is how we push for rethinking choices. So hopefully, man, all the artists that I was able to engage will come through and you'll share your views and your contribution. So remember, man, rethink those choices, support sustainable business, and transformational ownership is for you. Signing out from COP28, the delegation area where they are making like all the crazy decisions and negotiations. It's really high profile. You can't really, man. I just hope like we reach like a really concrete decision that will be able to, lead us to a better transition. So stay tuned, and got you. Larry Dwayne signing out.
Great. That was Larry Dwayne joining us from Dubai, COP28. Just sharing his sentiment. That was, of course, that was a recorded video, sharing his sentiment and on how the conversations are going out there, and and calling for calling out for the real issues, which is putting a lid to oil, coal, and gas production as a way of trying to promote sustainable living here on Earth. And Collins, as I had Lally Dwayne speaks, and I would hear him talking about not being allowed to get participate in the real conversation, and that brings makes me wonder, will this COP be like just the other COPs that have been there? I mean, 30 COPs have been there, and they've not bared fruits. And now with that, people are not allowed to participate, especially the young people, the voice of the young people missing out in the conversations. What do you think? Is it the way to go? Is it not the way to go? Because clearly, from what we've had from the conversations that we've had, starting with Aggie about Kenya Girl Guides EC, you realize that actually young people are doing things out there. But then when you lock them out from having participating in these conversations, are we really headed in the right direction, Collins?
Yes, thanks, Tim, and glad to hear from Larry, right from Dubai. I think from your question, for me, it will be, the space that and the position where Larry stands with many young people, artists, who are trying to use their talents, their gifts to send a message out there. And I think in the morning, the session we had before this, initially with the first team and Inga, Inga had a guest from Sweden, actually an artist, and they're called the Birds of Climate. And one of the key aspects I picked from what they are trying to do about this prism idea is that actually they are getting to artists to be in areas where they can actually listen from the voices coming from maybe the business leaders, the political leaders, and governments. And what that prism means is that it actually is like you shine a light and it reflects, and that reflection means that you have to respond back with what is the message you're getting from that? For instance, if you're in a crisis, then what's the message that you can get back to the people either in authority, in government, to be able to hear clearly what they are speaking about? And so, for me, what Laurie is explaining, for me, it's still a window of opportunity on how far they can actually go with regards to using their music, to actually spread the message, and that message has to go to the to the world beyond just the people who are in Dubai. And I think for me that's how I look at it, and I agree that music has the power to touch the souls. If you have, maybe after this I'll give you a story about a movie. Timothy, you watch movies, right?
Yeah, sure. I enjoy. I'm currently looking
okay, so maybe your response to that, then I'll give you a tip of one of my favorite movies. It's called The Shawshank Redemption. I know maybe you have watched it. I'll tell you about how music can actually bring people to that standstill, to reflect and to just understand that even in a crisis or in places where the hearts are hardened, the sounds of the music can bring hope. What's your thought about Larry then?
Great. I resonate. I cannot agree more on that. And with that, maybe we can get to listen to some few beats by Larry. We see if it will soften the hearts of those people that go and allow them to participate, the young people to participate in this conversation. Let's have some bits of it.
Slutty Dwayne. Alright, yeah. We live fast, we live slow, we love deep, we fly high. Live fast, live slow, we love deep, we fly high. We live fast, we live slow, we love deep, we fly high. To save the world, we have to go fast into very slow. And rich people, plastic, fantastic, and poor people living their full emotional scale of being humans, where emotions are real. Look, the rich are asking the poor to stop buying shoes. That is all fine. If you have 100 pair of shoes, I have 1 pair. Let's support the poor to accelerate to the 100. We run fast, we run fat, we run barefoot. Hung loose, we are on the surfboard. Hanging loose with 10 toes to the board. Let us open the door of the boardrooms. We have the front foot, let us take the front door. Hung loose, go slow, go fast, hung loose. It's the front foot, better yet the back door. Hung loose, go slow, go fast. It's a full moon. Yeah, it's a full moon. It's a full moon. Take a picture. Yeah, full moon. We live slow, we love deep, we fly high. Live fast, live slow, we love deep and fly high. We live fast, live slow, we love deep and fly high. We fly high, yeah. We live fast, we live slow, we love deep, we fly high. Live fast, live slow, love deep, fly high. Fly, live slow. Transformational ownership, this is the only way that we can drive transition into the green economy, yeah, that is the vision. Limit oil, gas, coal use, that's the mission. Need your participation. Do you believe we can achieve this transformation? Let us limit the production and give people the power. The earth right now is sour. Watu pia wako sawa. Dignity is key, all my people, do you listen? For me, I do believe that I have the superpower that can change the future. It starts with me, yeah, Larry Dwayne. I'll take an action, I'll be so active. Restore the environment, restore the ecosystem. Return it to the system, the indigenous system. How people, do you listen? unlock your consciousness towards the environment. Yeah, nature is alive and nature has feelings. Don't you hurt its feelings. You are human and just stop being the reason why nature ain't healing. Good does not come from having good intentions or even by acting on them. But good comes from accepting that the good
Dreaming of a day when we shall heal the world. Transform yourself, it's for you, it's the solution. A limit to oil, gas and coal makes me happy. This world is all we got, so we must save the planet, save it now. Yeah.
Good originates from accepting that there are limits. Good comes from limits. Rethink those choices, chunga vile una purchase. Think of your consumption. What's the point? I mean, transformational ownership is for you. It's for you, yeah. Are you ready now? Are you ready
Dreaming
now?
of a day when we shall heal the world. Transform yourself, it's for you, it's the solution. A limit to oil, gas and coal makes me happy. This world is all we got, so we must save the planet, save it now.
What gives you joy? Dancing in the rain. What gives you joy? Owning my challenges.
What gives you joy?
Being alive.
What gives you joy?
Having fun. Hey, 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 hey. Yo. Transformational ownership, yeah. Hey yo, listen, everyone, you are welcome to the
Dreaming of a day when we shall heal the world. Transform yourself, it's for you, it's the solution. A limit to oil, gas and coal makes me happy. This world is all we got, so we must save the planet, save it now. Yeah.
Dignity is the key to unlock your consciousness towards the environment. Yeah, nature is alive and nature has feelings. Don't you hurt its feelings. You are human and just stop being the reason why nature ain't healing. Good does not come from having good intentions or even by acting on them. But good comes from accepting that the good
Dreaming of a day when we shall heal the world. Transform yourself, it's for you, it's the solution. A limit to oil, gas and coal makes me happy. This world is all we got, so we must save the planet, save it now. Yeah.
Good originates from accepting that there are limits. Good comes from limits. Rethink those choices, chunga vile una purchase. Think of your consumption. What's the point? I mean, transformational ownership is for you. It's for you, yeah. Are you ready now? Are you ready
Dreaming
now?
of a day when we shall heal the world. Transform yourself, it's for you, it's the solution. A limit to oil, gas and coal makes me happy. This world is all we got, so we must save the planet, save it now.
What gives you joy? Dancing in the rain.
What gives you joy?
Owning my challenges.
What gives you joy?
Being alive.
What gives you joy?
Having fun. Hey, 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 hey. Yo. Transformational ownership, yeah. Hey yo, listen, everyone, you are welcome to the
Dreaming of a day when we shall heal the world. Transform yourself, it's for you, it's the solution. A limit to oil, gas and coal makes me happy. This world is all we got, so we must save the planet, save it now. Yeah.
Dignity is the
Great, great there. Collins, did you enjoy the music?
Yeah, man, I was shaking my head and like, hey, Tim, I need to get to the dance floor. Did you get the lyrics today? I love
Yes.
the I love the beats and the message in it. He says like nature has the feelings, and it goes
Yeah.
like it's for you, it's for you, it's for you.
Yeah. That and it brought about for me it brought about the soothing aspect of music, where it makes you, just feel okay, amidst the challenges that you're in, and also gives you hope that all is well. All is well.
Yeah. On that note, I told you that I wanted to share the story from a movie. I think you've watched it, Tim. Have you watched
Okay.
the Shawshank Redemption?
Not really. Maybe talk about it. Maybe, probably.
Yeah, man, you should get to watch it. It's an American 1994 film, and it features Morgan Freeman. The guy. He's so good, and one of the main actors of it is called Andy. He's actually a banger who gets imprisoned for a crime. We don't know whether he committed or not, but in the film there's this iconic moment where actually, sorry, Andy, he gets locked himself in a room, actually in one of the warden's room. And what happened is that he actually plays a duet, you know, and these lyrics fly up to the PA system, and we had the prisoners all across in the playground, and as it throws into the skies of this duet you know uh, song, and the prisoners actually and the soldiers stand still to just hear the musical. And the sound comes from, I think, the two ladies from Italy from that musical, and you can see the gazing, you know still, and everyone goes quiet just to listen to this. And for me, that was one of the most, memorable moments about this film. And the real aspect about it is, the prison is a place where, life is hard. We have some of the toughest guys surviving, the life up and about. We have scenes about people getting killed, and the whole aspect about that this musical sound that goes into the air, and the guys stand still, including the guards, to just listen to this. You can almost feel like, hey, this is a new beginning. It's like a reopening of something new they have never thought about in the confines of a prison. And yeah, you should get to watch this film. It has some inspiring stories. And at one point, uh, Morgan asks this guy Andy and says, "Hey, hope is a dangerous thing. It can drive a man crazy." But the whole aspect about it is that if you hope for something that everyone thinks that it's impossible, yeah, it's possible, because at the end of it, actually, Andy got out of the prison. And so yeah, if you look at it about the stories of what Aggie was saying about the young people, and she said something important. Her last message was about stand up and let your voice be heard. So yes, nothing is impossible. I'll get your feedback, team, after you watch that.
For sure, I will. For sure, I will. I will, Collins. And as you're speaking, that you just spoke what we saw from Larry. The first clip when we saw him, he was in this devastated place. It was raining. And then we proceeded to seeing him at COP, and talking about how things are going there. And then we listened to his music, which brought us life back. Gave back life to us again. So that's actually what you're saying, showing, giving hope to the world that yes, we can still do this, that even though you're not allowed, even though you're not permitted maybe to participate in those conversations there, you don't have the space, we can actually bring it to your villages there, locally, through such conversations, when we get to learn a lot of activities, a lot of initiatives people are doing out here as a way of trying to, restore nature, as a way of trying to look after our common home, and it's just soothing. It's just, I mean, it's just funny. It's just interesting. Look about
Yeah,
the comment by Nico. So
yeah.
it's really,
Exactly.
it's really great. It's really great, and I mean, I can't get enough of this. But Collins, as we wind up,
Yes.
as we're coming to the close of this, maybe you can share some of your highlights on today's on this second session segment?
Yeah, I think for me, Tim, it has been a learning moment. Just getting to hear conversations about, people doing amazing work, and the fact that, like what our friend, uh, he was called, the guy who is doing amazing work with the millennium. Just
James.
forgot his name. Yeah, James. Yes, and hearing that he's doing amazing work. I'm in Nairobi, getting to hear that inspirational message from him. It just gives me the hope that we have quite a lot to do, and that was a wake up call for me. Aggie brings this inspiring story from the Girl Guides, and an aspect she talked about actually that I wanted to mention on. She talked about the water for sex, sex for fish, and the whole aspect about how the effects of climate change does not really awaken us to look at just the environment, but the ripple effect that it has to, yeah, girls, and women. And for me, I think it's a voice that needs to go out there to understand that we need to act now, because if you look at some of the aspects and the projects they're working around, it calls on everyone. And I'm happy that you talked of, they have, young children as, age 6, and, it gets along to, people who are elderly, and they are connecting with one another to just mentor them, to work with them. It's something for me that is so inspiring, Tim. So for me, I think, and then we had, this conversation you bring in about the comedy and the art, the art about it. Art is a powerful tool, and where the boardrooms are closed, I think for me, let the voices and the bells of art and music roar the art. It will bring everyone to a standstill to hear the call for action. So thank you, Tim. Maybe just to hear from you now, what was your highlight for today?
Great. For me, it was Richard's joke. I mean, I can't get enough of it. That if cigars didn't have enough adverse effects, he would smoke 100. I'll just be curious to see how he can do that. But also the meditation part of it also made sense. It really um, it brought me home that yes, I have emotions, but I'm not emotions. It's easy to get lost in our emotions, but having understanding that we're two separate entities. I think that for me made a lot of sense. James' story was incredibly amazing. I mean, it depicts, it shows how you can do great things by what you think you cannot do. What you don't have. You think you don't have the capability, yet you have to do amazing, incredible things. So yeah, that is it. And I mean, I can mention many, but that is just but a few. And finally, we've come to the close of our second session. It's been an amazing thing. It's been an amazing session. We've learned, we've had fun, and we can't wait to continue having this tomorrow. We have another segment coming on. And yeah, it's been from me and my colleague Collins, and it's been amazing having you as an audience. So until we meet again, we say bye bye.
Bye bye. Thanks, and keep it. It's for your team.
It's for you, yeah, for sure.
Okay, bye bye. Thank you so much.